game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7.
We don't have the penguin! Oh no! Panic, panic! Back to starting soon.
Go 7, king of
Guess on nothing.
game. I believe in you, that's what it'll say.
Fluffy was first.
Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Seeing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7.
Oh. Penguin? Penguin should be here. It's right here, see? There we go. Humida did say first. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I know it's replays on a weird day. And as soon as the replays are over, I'm gonna have to like dash to class and take my turn against Talos on the bus on my phone. It's gonna be something special. I really don't like how the tournaments have shorter timers. I know it's super sophisticated to get the penguin going. Hello. Because I've been dealing with his finals and his finals. Exactly. And let's see here. There's 2 Go7 games that finished. Let's wait down here. I had a lot of new submitters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 2 of my own games. We're not even going to get through all the new submissions. The backlog shall just keep winning. I am picking Grim for Qubits. It's a big backlog. Thank you. Here, I can prove it. I'm not starting it now because I want the timer to give me as much time as possible. I added it in. I added in your Malachite trial submission. I think what happened was you pinged me about it, and then I must have checked to remove the ping, but then that also removed the notice to me that there had been a message in that channel, and so I didn't get that put in until Parrot submitted their own. Okay. Everyone's favorite matchup, Drake versus Kindle. Many the Kindle player has gone into this matchup and realized it is an awful experience. I'll wait a little bit longer before I go. But basically, Kindle likes to have her really strong day-to-day, and then her really strong power to like get control of all the cities. But then, you know, Drake can kind of play around the day-to-day, not take too many hits, and then the Urban Blight hits, and you're like, oh, that's kind of scary. And then Drake uses his super, and the game just ends. It's just Kindle just can't keep up. Is how the matchup tends to go. Unless she's able to do just like an outrageous amount of damage to Drake. But on these really big maps, where it takes multiple turns to make it to a front, and even more time than that for the fronts to even get established, Drake is just going to have a really easy time. You went Kindle against the Drake on the Global League map? I mean, if it's a small map, you'll have a nice time. If it's a map that's large, then you're often going to have a lot of pain. It's Marengo. I mean, I think I would prefer to be Drake over Kindle and Marengo, but you do have a pretty decent airport, so I wouldn't say it's over. Especially if the player's like too impatient with Drake, let you like overcharge them and stuff like that. Okay, we can go into it. So my plan for this matchup is to use the airport just to build transport copters and just rely on infantry and vehicles to win the day, with trying to get some nice control over the comm towers, because once Kindle's established, she'll have a very easy time stopping me from getting a comm tower or stealing a comm tower using Urban Blight and then being able to like attack off the comm tower to hit my defenders. But if she never gets established, then as soon as I get my first my first super off, all of her stuff gets weakened and all of her captures become a lot harder to complete, because any infantry that was in range is going to be at lower health. So my plan is to deny the comm tower using the transport copters in order to get my own comm tower faster, and also beat the Kindle to these corner cities using transport copters. I don't really want to go for early recons against Kindle, because it's very easy for Kindle to have a tank. So my recon like hits an infantry on a city to, you know, harass, and the tank can then attack from the city and just kill me in one shot. So it's not the best idea to be an aggressive harasser with Drake against Kindle, just because of how easy it is for your recons to get picked off. Does the current rotation heavily favor global damage? It might. It's MemeHero, I gotta turn you into yellow comet. Just delete all your units to avoid global damage. Yeah. I'm not sure what this pipe seam is for. There's just a pipe seam next to this base. I guess I'm not even sure if I think it's faster for the space to go down along this side. I don't know why you'd want to do that. That seems awful in comparison to just going out this way. And I think it's faster for this base to go like this rather than to go like this. So I have no idea what this pipe seam is for. It's just for aesthetics. Okay. Ooh. I did think about going for the airport first. I don't think MemeHero is going for the airport first. I think this is just moving out here, and then we'll double back and get the base. It's there to confuse penguins. Okay. I'm not even sure it's that aesthetically pleasing. I think what happened there is the map creator is a troll, and they want the chance that you go to capture your base, but instead you attack the pipe seam. And they just really want those day 2 resigns. Oh my gosh, MemeHero did go for the airport first. Ooh. So it's not... I mean, I considered it, but I decided not to do it because there's immediate property to go for over here. But there aren't that many properties that you slow down by going for the airport first, and you might be able to make that up with a transport copter. But I would still, because there's no super nice boost from the copter on build, except to go up here, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can boost it there to get to this city and that city. So I mean, I guess there is one nice boost there. But still, on this map, I think I would prefer get the base first, because you do get this right away, and having more infantry is going to be very helpful, especially against global damage. Recon, not recon. If Grim finds a recon on the strong side, should he go recon or recon on recon violence? I would prefer to get a tank, but you can try and fight recon versus recon. A tank will just completely shut it down, though. This is a really big map, so there isn't too many worries of being caught unprepared. So I think we're about to see a really fancy play here from MemeHero, which is going to be loading this infantry into this transport copter, dropping it off here to go after this city, and then boosting here to get to this city. I mean, that is super fancy. And arguably, I should have gone for that, but instead I wanted to have more pressure in this direction because I wanted to deny the comm tower and get to this corner. Okay, so we have a really fancy little boost over here. This is a problem with the really big maps and the recons. This recon shouldn't have this tentative move. It should go all the way. There's no way I have anything that could hurt this recon, and it's going to be a while before I can actually spot an infantry. We have another recon. Okay. You'll see I haven't built a single vehicle from my bases because, as you can see from even these really early recons, there's absolutely no threat that they're going to reach my stuff yet. So if we look at the unit counts, at the end of MemeHero's turn, they're behind by 2 infantry. And that's gonna be really painful as this game progresses. I do build my first tank out of the central city in preparation to some possible recon harassment. Again, this is just a little too cautious with this recon. It could have already been like down here if it wanted to be. Okay. So I think, yeah, this turn I'm going to be a little bit behind in the captures completed. It'll just be even with MemeHero's own completed captures due to the nice fancy boosts that went on here. But as this game progresses, I'm going to be able to kind of get more captures overall just because I have more infantry out there. So at the end of my turn, 16 infantry against 13. And I have 3 tanks versus 1, which is pretty nice. Okay, we have this recon per side. I wouldn't really recommend that. So if you go for these early recons, you have to be very aggressive with them, because as I was pointing out with just the infantry counts, this could have been an infantry. It could have been capturing cities, and instead it's a recon. So it should be trying to kind of justify its own existence rather than just being built later. Because the distance that this has traveled, it could have been built like 2 turns later than it was. And there would be no difference. Okay. I do like these forests, so I'm dropping off to have nice, easy reach for these cities. I've got the tank in a fairly centralized position because I haven't actually seen any of my opponent's units yet. And I'd like to be able to easily front switch to either side. And now you can see this is the triple recon turn because I haven't seen any of my opponent's stuff. So I'm assuming that they're not being very aggressive and they're going to try and be setting up either a trap or they're kind of they're like heavily investing in one side. And I would like to find that information out very quickly for my own little standing army of 3 tanks here. So I'm going to have 3 recon sent out to find out what my opponent's composition and position is looking like. Plus, it's very fancy. I mean, triple recon. Okay. So here, given the choice between capturing these 2 cities, I would recommend going for this one down here, because this one is like, it's past the center line. So I'm going to have a much easier time attacking this, where this city, it's got this nice division here. This base kind of flows straight down here to defend it. And I go over here to defend it, so it's right in the middle. So if you can capture that city, you'll be able to hold it very nicely. And because of the really early transport copter, MemeHero actually gets in range to capture it faster than I do, even with my own transport copter, because it's slower. So between these 2 choices, you're going to want to go for this city. If this was standard rather than fog, then I can understand wanting to go for this city instead, because it's a lot easier to defend your cities in standard. But in Fog of War, it's really difficult to defend cities that are pushing the line, because you never know how much your opponent is sending to take that city and when they're sending stuff to take that city. So if you can be in either a situation where you don't have enough stuff around and then they just take your city from you and you're going to fall behind in the capture phase because of that, or they're going to send nothing to try and take that city and you're going to overinvest in your defenses and lose elsewhere. Playing Sturm as Drake. Yeah. We'll jump over to get to that city. Check out the comm tower, see what's what. All of these are really nice forests that you can hang out in. Although I'd prefer if this forest wasn't next to a city. It's a little bit dangerous for that penguin. Send me back to go pick up some more infantry. I think I got trapped. Yeah, okay, I got trapped against this city, which is why all the tanks start coming on over. Okay, boost on up to potentially take this city. But then nothing hit this penguin, so I'm like, okay. MemeHero did not have anything in place to kind of deal with my possible aggression over here, so that kind of gives me the green light. Because I'm sending all of my vehicles, except for this one recon, in this direction. So I should have an advantage. So we'll just take that out and then put a tank on the city. I know that neither of these comm towers have been captured, and MemeHero doesn't have a lot of charge right now. So there's no easy way for MemeHero to clear this city in order to get a tank strike off of it. It's just a classic move. And I fully anticipated this comm tower to get interrupted, but I figured if I go for both of these at the same time, then I'd probably get the city, not get the comm tower. Our MemeHero starts going for this city over here. You can see the infantry count is starting to actually matter quite a bit, because I've got 3 more infantry at the end of my turn, and I've been using my transport copter to get them kind of on the front lines, where this transport copter mostly sent 1 infantry down. I did 1 more little boost here, so I've got more infantry and I've got more where they're going to be needed in fighting. And they're the best units for exerting pressure, so it's going to work out very nicely for me. It's a very good placement of this transport copter. Ready to pick up that mech. So, probably wise for MemeHero to be cautious in attacking over here. Would have been kind of stomped on pretty hard. But over here, letting this comm tower go, I think, is a mistake. You should definitely hit it with the recon, using the information of seeing 2 tanks over here to kind of give you a lot of confidence that you're not going to get wiped out. Anyone else currently in fog but in real life? No. So the recon comes over here, does a little check. Sadly, this is the only unit that can actually interrupt this city. No, I guess the tank can also interrupt the city capture. I don't remember if I go for it. So I should have done the transport copter drop off on this mountain first, and then I could use the recon to actually interrupt this capture instead of what happened. But at this point, I'm really happy because I can see, like, these cities aren't captured. I've got these cities under control, and I've got really good presence on this city. So I think and I have the comm tower, and I know that this isn't captured. So I'm very confident that I'm going to have a nice economic advantage in this game. I'm going to jump straight to the Neo tank to really leverage that. And yeah, I see the tanks up here, so I decided not to interrupt this capture and instead just set myself up to let the capture get taken and then take it away on the following turn, much like what I'm doing to this city, which I'm also making sure that I'm not having any units around so that MemeHero can send stuff to interrupt this capture, but there won't be any hits off of the city against defenders, and I'll be able to kind of attack back. Yeah, I think MemeHero is definitely respecting me a little too much. As Kindle in this CO matchup, you do have to be kind of the aggressor. Try and leverage that day-to-day to force Drake into unhappy situations. So it goes for kind of, I guess, a safer pick-off and goes off the infantry on this mountain. But that does let me... And that doesn't send an infantry over here to stop this. The kind of unfortunate situation where the only infantry that could possibly go for the comm tower is also the one that could interrupt the capture. I'm not 100% sold on interrupting the capture. I think that Drake, I would get this city either way. But maybe if the artillery is able to get itself situated in one of these forests, it would be holdable. And then we've got the rocket buy. And I really don't like the rocket buy. Because this front's already starting to kind of break out into a fight. And the rocket's going to take a really long time to get there. So I'm not going to let this comm tower capture. And then I will clear the city, go for a tank first strike, and then start capturing the city. You see we both built one heavy hitter. I built a Neo tank, and MemeHero built a rocket, and the Neo tank is going to be able to get places a lot faster. So I do this because I don't want MemeHero to just sacrifice the 4 health tank into this tank and then use another tank to finish it off and let the infantry come through and interrupt the capture. But this does, of course, invite MemeHero to get a Kindle tank on tank strike from the city. But that's fine to me. It's basically trading a tank for a tank, and it's going to be helping me get towards my super while also giving me another city. Okay. Built another transport copter because I want to be able to reinforce my infantry lines very quickly. And this transport copter has kind of been designated as a blocker at this point, which is not something I super want to do. But I do have artillery over here, and they want to come lock down this city, and they want to lock down this comm tower. Because if I can deny Kindle a comm tower, then she doesn't even have a chance to clear cities very effectively in order to kind of use her day-to-day against me without using her. There we go. We get a nice smack for Kindle. Kill off the poor transport copter. Hit this tank. You can see those are both really valuable strikes for Kindle, but it does mean that my little wall here holds, and there's no way to stop me from taking the city. Over here, Kindle does stop this. I do see the artillery shot. And there's this very aggressive comm tower capture from Kindle, which I think is fine. It's something I kind of like. The action over here I think should have happened a couple turns ago, but it's still a good idea to attack on the side that your opponent's army clearly isn't on. Drop the mech off over here. It's possible that it would be a good idea. Well, it depends on how desperate you are to take this and save this city. Could go for some negative trades in order to get that tiny bit charge more. That doesn't happen. So now I've got a really nice econ lead here. It's 29k to 25k. I did see the infantry walking over here, getting ready to go for these captures. And at this point, I'm just thinking about how am I going to get myself to the super, because I've already got the econ lead. I don't really need to try and push into Kindle anymore. I'm going to try and front switch away from this and just work on killing off as many infantry, not so much caring about the vehicles. So you're going to see the Neo tanks going up here. I don't want to lose my comm tower, and I see a bunch of nice, easy to pick off infantry. I don't see these ones, but over here with just like an artillery, a recon, and anti-air. So I don't remember why I went for this attack. I think it was a charge thing. I hit there. I should probably try and save the tank. I was probably trying to stop tanks from just following and picking me off. But I think it would be a lot better to just save the tank and run back to the artillery. Yeah, the 3 health infantry is going to come up here, knock this guy down to 9. That way, I don't have too much pressure in trying to save this city. Against Kindle, it's totally fine to put a 1 health unit on top of a city in order to repair it, because the Urban Blight will bring it down to the minimum of 1, but it's not going to take any more value damage. Same with over here. It's a 2 health tank, so Urban Blight will knock it down to 1 and then it'll heal up to 3. I still get a nice net positive out of that. Oh, I remember. I wanted to do this attack to lower this tank's health so that it was harder to kill this tank off. In this case, though, I think, yeah, there's an artillery here, so it can just shoot my tank. Down goes the recon. Down goes the tank. The rocket's slowly making its way over here. It's going to show up at a very unfortunate time where the cities have already been lost. The mech gets pushed back here. The Kindle mechs can't be scary. If I use like a tank, hit this comm tower, and then the mech gets to hit off of it, that's pretty good. Okay, so if I was playing as Kindle right now, I would not be pushing forward because I saw that the Drake player just pulled back over here, which usually means that something's going to hit on the other side. I would agree with MemeHero not using Urban Blight here. I don't think it would accomplish anything. We have the Neo tank built over here. I get to kill off the copter and shoot the tank. And Neo tank comes in and kills off an infantry. Woo! Take out the recon, and at this point I'm just trying to get some charge, so I send the tank forward. Kill off this tank. I don't see the anti-air, I don't think. Then we have our Typhoon. So it is Typhoon before Urban Blight. Welcome to big maps. Get to take out that infantry. Get to take out this infantry. Spot here. Start capturing the comm tower. There's no way I'm getting this comm tower, but I might as well force Kindle to clear it before using it as a attack off point. I get to interrupt this capture. And not only, of course, does Typhoon do the nice global damage, but it also reduces the visibility range and it makes it rain, which means that these vehicles are slower when moving over plains. So it's not nearly as good as snow is, but it still gives you a nice little deterrence or safety net to slow down a bunch of vehicles. So we do have MemeHero using Urban Blight afterwards. I mean, you could also High Society. I don't think the High Society would be that good. I think it would kill off this artillery maybe with the recon. Probably not. And tries to fall back. Lots of heals have to happen. It's poor. This is all the extra defense from having Drake super active there. The rocket is now in position. It did get hit, so it's already having to manage some repair costs. you can see it's kind of a mission accomplished over here for me. There's only one foot soldier left, and it's this mech. So it's almost time for me to just completely leave the front because my opponent can't actually do anything that would punish me leaving. And then this is a rocket in fog, which is always going to have some problems because it's very cost effective to attack into it. In this case, it's only going to do 2 damage from this tank, but it does set it up for the future to be absolutely walloped by any other tank that ever wants to dive in here. Since a rocket costs 15k and a tank only costs 7k. And tanks, their movement range outranges the range of a rocket. So all of this happening up here is just so I can put this recon into this forest. So. We've got our triple Neo tanks moving on out here because they're a nice expensive unit that's going to try and force Kindle to come up with some sort of response while also being down 4k in income. And for that same reason, I'm going to be having plenty of anti-airs around because there we go. The classic response to the Neo tanks would be bombers. So Kindle's down to 7 infantry against 14, which is very painful. Because pretty soon there'll be no one left to go for attacks like this. It'll have to be vehicles that strike against the infantry. This is such an unfortunate situation for MemeHero. Tries to go into this forest to kill the infantry on the road, but ends up blocking the city and getting trapped on this infantry. And that means that this tank can't come down and kill this anti-air off. Another Urban Blight. I'm not sure what's up with that Urban Blight. I think that was just a panic Urban Blight because things have started to turn south really fast. The only thing it does is do 1 damage to this infantry and then hurt the units that were built. Was that like 8,000 in value? Yeah, a little less than 8,000 in value. The rocket does get the city boost. So it does get to just blam, take that unit out. Okay. And then MemeHero is gonna start running into the really ugly situation where once you run out of infantry and your opponent still has them, your opponent can still pressure you with a lot of vehicles, but you always have to split up your buys with more and more infantry just to try and actually have some so you can capture stuff. Hey everyone. So I'm going to pull back my vehicles away from the rocket for now and just try and, I mean, I'll definitely poke it with an infantry. Rockets are made out of paper. But at this point, MemeHero is in the awkward situation with the rocket is that it constantly has to have body blockers, otherwise I can just dive in and take it out. This tank survives, I think. Living at 1, which is very annoying. I'm going to start setting up a chain of transport copters where the mech hops into this transport copter. It delivers the mech to here, and then this transport copter is ready on the next turn to pick up that mech and deliver it to the front lines while this transport copter goes back for another mech. And that way I'll be able to use mechs to kind of hold this line as I go for a front switch away to go beat up the stuff on the other side soon. Or I can just take the HQ if not a whole bunch of stuff gets sent over here. You love bullying indirects with infantry? Yeah, I mean, they're so flimsy. The rocket was on the city and it took 3 damage. Okay. I think you can probably see what I see is that there's a very, very weak wall now to defend this rocket. We do have the bomber, which makes sense. You gotta deal with the Neo tank somehow. Alright, we're gonna go for a whole bunch of cities. And just kind of say, how are you gonna stop me? And have a whole bunch of stuff set up to go after the units to try and stop it. This attack isn't necessary at all, but I didn't see too much downside to it. Basically, if yeah, I almost get the super. If MemeHero invests units in order to take out this Neo tank, that means they're not being sent over here. Was my idea. It would have been a lot better if I was able to like get the super, but I don't think I tried to calculate that out. Because if I had the super, like even this Neo tank wouldn't be able to reach because you would only get 3 tiles in the planes. I almost get this second comm tower there. Yeah, there's very little left over here now. Get the Neo tank first strike, which definitely overcharges me. And this recon gets taken out. And then we have the Urban Blight, which is going to slow down a lot of captures. You'll see that I never have units in transit just sitting on cities. Because there's no reason to give free damage for the Urban Blight. Once an Urban Blight gets used up and there's no charge left, then I'll have units sitting on the cities in transit. So every Urban Blight that Kindle uses, it does just very little damage to me. But then when I use my own power, it does just a ton of damage to Kindle, such as the way you can't, like, I can dodge Urban Blights to get places. You can't dodge Typhoon. We'll take out this Neo tank. And you can see all of the units that got sent forward to stop the captures get taken out. And then the captures just continue on. They're like, oh, you stopped me for a single turn. But now that you've lost all of those units, how are you going to stop the next wave of captures? And then everything over here just retreats as I start sending some units over to possibly, well, to definitely stop the comm tower, but possibly even go for some more cities over here at the same time as I'm taking all these ones. The rocket got a shot off. It killed an infantry and a vehicle. Very sad that the artillery. This is the rain doing its thing. The Neo tank is invisible, but because it's raining, the infantry doesn't see 2 tiles, so the artillery has to move up close next to it in order to spot it, and then the bomber can come in and kill it. But that does mean that yeah, there's no way to stop anything. That's just GG. I would say this is a worse map than Stalingrad. but it's definitely got a similar feel to it for sure. I think the middle is too strong on this map. In Stalingrad, the front shifts are really good, but they give you some more time to react. You can see I could just kind of very easily swing back and forth. The comm towers are like right there. The corner cities are a little bit too close to the action, so there's less of that side play. Once you kind of have your front established, you also have control over this city. You don't have the capture chains. Because one of the nice things about Stalingrad is that it gets both players to fight over the comm towers by having capture chains that lead straight to the comm towers. And you don't have the capture chains on this map. You have like this one. And there's one right here, but you don't have one that's leading you here. So the fronts aren't as nicely established. But the same like a similar setup with the triple base and an airport in the corner is definitely similar to Stalingrad. Although there's a little less flexibility, I guess, with the bases. And the airport's more and more in the corner. But yeah. That was the game. You got to see Drake fighting Kindle. You can see why it's really tough for Kindle on these really big maps. Urban Blights, and this is also, I think, part of why a lot of people say that Kindle gets worse at the higher levels, is because people start playing around the Urban Blights, and now they're not really even considered global damage anymore. Like, there was Urban Blights there that only hit the building units. PTSD from 18 months ago. I definitely enjoy Stalingrad, but I'm also biased towards Stalingrad. Okay, and then we have one more Go7 game. I believe this map just got removed, or is getting removed, from the high funds rotation. It was removed yesterday. There's a lot of remakes / reworks of VOG maps, but they feel clumsy and they don't improve stuff. I mean, you hate to say it, but it's hard to improve on the Ouija maps. They're really good. I mean, some of them have like really simple improvements, like putting black boats on incredibly exposed HQs. I think there's more potential in making maps that are similar to like First Step into Fog, but those ones are really hard to make. It's the game mode. The game mode's fun though. So I definitely agree with this map being taken out. I don't know why. It always feels really weird to me when you're using labs instead of HQs, but then you just only have one lab. I think it would be a lot better if when you're using labs instead of HQs to just have more labs, so you can really like leverage the fact that that's a very allowed and easy thing to do. But because this is just a single lab map, and then the lab is just stretched forward into the center of the map with one base versus double base airport, it's kind of just a lab race, I guess, instead of an HQ race. There's just no way that you're going to be able to hold this in the long run. Ideally, you get this harbor, and then you have a harbor and a base versus double base airport, and then you'll just die once the bombers show up. Oh, and I guess it's really double base airport harbor. So a little weird of a setup there. And I went with Koal because I wanted the move boost to potentially have some air units come out and like be harassing in the center, and then they could come up and try and save my lab. This map is, I think it's 100% HQ rush. I don't think there's even a way to play this map that won't result in an HQ rush, because this lab is just in the center of this front. So no matter what, you're going to, like, I did not play this map with the idea of going for the lab rush. I was like, I'll just do it in kind of a more economic style and just try and defend my lab, kind of my typical Go7 way. But the lab is just where it is, so it's very easy to attack. So I go for some really early black boats here. And that's mainly because there's a lot of stuff going on in the center here, and then there's also a lot of these nice places to block off with black boats. Like, you can block off this tile, and it completely cuts off the fronts. Down here, you can block that off. The black boat can go between these two fronts. You can use black boats over here to guard capturing the harbor, and be used as a blocker if you get into some naval fights as well. So I'm very happy to get a bunch of black boats and use those to just accelerate my capture game for now, and then be used as really annoying blockers in the future. I'll just hop in here, get dropped off up here. And then I'm going to send this one down here to accelerate the captures down here. Maybe, like, the dream would be I get both of these harbors. And then I could always do the classic, I just build a battleship, and you have absolutely no way of saving your lab. So Cardell is now is a little bit behind in the black boat production. That's okay. Hop in, go for some more of these central captures. Move on back. I'm going to build a recon because I do see that Cardell is now kind of doing some black boat stuff too, so perhaps I can come in and do some harassment. And I'm going to build a lander. This is with the idea that I need to defend my lab, so I want to be able to pick up like artillery and medium tanks and the like from over here on these shoals and drop off right here by my lab and hold down the line. It's what I plan. Okay. So I felt like Cardell had a very strong reaction to the single recon. It was just a triple tank, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend to go for in high funds, because it's very easy to just get out-teched in high funds. Like, technically I guess my recon is being out-teched by triple tank, but now I can just build a medium tank, and then the double tank over here is going to be kind of sad. I do also get to use my lander right away, drop off my medium tank right on the front lines. Okay, at this point, I'm like, well, it's possible that this black boat doesn't bring infantry over here to go for this harbor. And if they don't, then I can go for the harbor. But I do believe that, yeah, Cardell does drop off over here. And then I have a choice, which I decide not to... I have a choice here. I can't just drop off infantry here and stop this harbor capture because this black boat will just move here and block the route so the infantry can't reach. So if I want to stop this harbor capture, I would have to interrupt my own capture here. And arguably, that is the right thing to do, but because I saw that this tank was already on its way over here, I decided to just not mess with it and accept my capture. And instead, just drop off more infantry off on the front lines here. This will still force this black boat to stand here. And I drop off over here so I don't have to deal with this tank potentially harassing me. And I can go for these captures, and maybe I'll be able to take the harbor anyway, just by having a lot of infantry around. You thought it'd be varied lab race / mid. You can't have it varied between sitting in the middle and winning the game, though. That's not gonna work. Okay, so this is a really good buy for Cardell. If you want to try and take out a fixed position like this, you bring in the indirects. They're very cost effective. It's going to be a complete nightmare for me to try and hold against constant indirect production when there's stuff that can stand in the way and copters that can be built. Now I'm going to drop off over here. Now I got my tanks over here. I don't have much to be worried about. My medium tank can charge forward with no fear. Be really scary. And I get to hop into this lander. And they'll be able to drop off 2 artillery up here. And I go for this bomber buy so I can destroy this pipe seam. And then just have a clear shot straight onto the front. It's also going to be really annoying for Cardell because this is, as I was saying, a very exposed lab, and the bomber will actually reach it in just... Or bombers and copters just built from this airport, I believe, reach it in just 2 turns. So you have to have a lot of anti-air defenses over here to try and save this lab. And I think this turn Cardell does something that was really weird to me. Which I think is, yeah, a battleship was built way back here. So this is really weird to me because the place that I would imagine you'd want to build a battleship would be here at this base, or this harbor, although it would be really dangerous because I already have a bomber on the field kind of nearby. But a battleship over here is going to run into problems because it's going to have a lot of travel time before it's making an impact, and I already have my own harbor over here to either build a sub or my own battleship in order to just zone this out. My recon starts gaining some value, which is nice. It had quite a bit of travel time. We can move over here, just make sure I can't have my capture interrupted. And then the medium tank is gonna kind of struggle. Now that there's triple artillery and a battleship over here, there's going to be a lot of indirects. So I'm just going to send it down here and kind of end the game with that. And that, yeah, I decided to build my own battleship to zone out the Lash battleship. The bomber vanished. Okay, so the bomber clears that, and I've got a transport copter to start moving infantry in this direction. Okay, we have a single anti-air, but of course against an airport, you're going to want to have at least 2. Otherwise, the bomber can always threaten to just fly in and kill an anti-air and get no punish. You saw my infantry at the zoo. That's very, that's very, very cool. Okay, you can see my kind of my early black boat investments and getting all my infantry into the center really quickly, and then having harassment over here, it's serving me well on the economic front. I'm up 10k at the end of my turn, which feels good, and I am also continuing to harass over here. But this city will still get through. So here I build a sub. There's two reasons. One, the sub is going to be a really nice unit to clear black boats out of the way and also go after the battleship. But also, it's going to be an unclearable blocker when the air units are coming for my poor battleship. What if Lash just... yeah, Lash could already rush the battleship. This is very true. I do have one artillery set up to shoot an artillery that would go for the city spot. However, Lash should definitely get more aggressive over here, because at this point it's just a straight up lab race. I'm going to have a hard time holding this position, and it's looking completely impossible for Cartel to hold this lab, especially pulling back. This tank just diving in deep to get away from this medium tank. It could have killed off this infantry if it wanted to. Okay. Just move everything on down here. We got the bomber strike, one artillery, we have an infantry in range. So next turn, the lab's already going to fall, and these units are so far away. They don't have the lander support, so the medium tank can't just show up on the front lines to hold things down. So here I'm going to build a cruiser. I mean, there is a sub, but the cruiser is actually to hit the bomber or the copter. I've got a submarine blocking on this side, and I've got the black boat blocking on this side. Try and save the battleship from potential bomber strike. In this case, it is being saved. These infantry are very hungrily looking at this harbor. Okay. This is kind of an annoying choke point for Cardell to clear right now. There's no way to kill off this infantry. This infantry can get cleared, but there's no good follow-up after clearing it. I think the battlecopter would still get hit or taken out by the cruiser, but then the bomber doesn't get hit. Rip stream. Oh no. We back? We back. That's good. So yeah, shouldn't have gotten trapped there. It doesn't make a huge difference because the fighting over here at this point doesn't really matter. There's no way to stop me from just taking the lab, and the push over here is too slow to take my lab. So at this point, it's kind of all just theoretical. The Lash Super isn't going to be something that can save this lab. I don't even need to use my power. I'm just doing it because I can. Doing the way of building another cruiser. Grab a Neo tank to hop into the lander. But yeah, you can see at this point there's absolutely no way to save this lab. It's just game over. And that's why this map is no longer in high funds. Good evening. My final presentation went pretty well. It turns out it was a 30-minute presentation on SQL, which is a programming language, but it was covered over Zoom, and It turns out I've actually had quite a bit of practice just talking on the internet. So I've gotten pretty decent at that. It went pretty well. Yeah, GG. I 100% agree with removing this map from the rotation. Let me finish the cap. I'm not. I'll be a graduated penguin on the 18th. That'll be very exciting. 6 p.m. my time on the 18th. I will be a graduated penguin. Unless I somehow completely bomb my real analysis final or something. Graduating before you. How close are you to graduating there, Fluffy? It'll be undergraduate. I'll go, and then I'll be working for a year back in the schools, and then I'll go for the graduate degree. Unreal analysis is cooler anyways. You've got 2 more years. I got quite the lead on you then. Face to the right. So many of us are math, so many math majors. How old are you, Rumbling? I'm definitely old for graduating with a bachelor's. I have a major in math and a minor in philosophy. And I'm 31. Before the pandemic, I was working as a para-educator, so I would work with students with disabilities. Never too old for college. There's a lot. Go7 lower stream. Yeah, there's a lot of people my age at university or older. You've been studying philosophy. You haven't picked a major yet. Fair. Philosophy's fun. Hey, Habits. You're 30. You're 30 as well. Or I guess I'm 31 now. School sucks. Yeah, it's not great to do it all at once. I'll definitely enjoy my year of just working. We're the same age. Hey! Well, hopefully I'm not making you feel old then. You turned 30 in April. Ooh, you're freshly 30. Congratulations. You're 21? Not bad. Being older isn't bad, but being older is. There's quite a bit of history in philosophy. Okay, so we've got... My birthday is December 30th. So I've been 31 for a while. April 23rd. Habits is freshly 30. Of course I'd be born in December, yeah. So, here we've got Parrots playing Sturm versus JellyMyst playing Max. And this is in the High Funds Glenstorm tournament, I think it's called. Glenstorm Cup. You were born April 1st? Well, I never played the original games. It's not weird to me. Born 5/5. Nice. Okay, so oftentimes for Sturm and High Funds, the focus is going to be on kind of like early game harassment and then locking stuff down with really fast indirects and just big boy units. So that's usually what I would expect to see. This map has some special peculiarities going on. You've got comm tower on an island in the corner, as well as comm towers in the center here. So probably going to be a 2 comm tower map. The airport is the only way to make it to this other airport that's in the center. It's also the only way to make it to these island cities. So an early transport copter is very good. And you can also use an early black boat to get like this corner and then use as a blocker down here on the shoals. I don't think Sturm is broken on this map. I mean, Sturm's always going to be really good. He does have some economic edges here, like he gets this city faster from the base, he gets this one faster from the base. But when it comes down to the really like end game units being built, other COs like Max and Von Bolt and Andy and Drake should all kind of outperform Sturm, especially Andy. I would say Sturm's pretty decent against Max, though. Yeah, Andy is really good against Sturm. Makes Sturm sad. We do have the double tank buy here from JellyMyst. They try and put some aggression on the Sturm player. Parrot, who hasn't built any recons, goes for a battle copter right away. I do not like that play. This should definitely be a transport copter because like this stuff, a whole other production facility is kind of locked off to building a transport copter, and then these ones are as well. So that's 4 properties. That's a big deal. And then there's still 16k floating, so I would at least get a black boat. Okay, but JellyMyst is also going to go for a battlecopter instead with an anti-air to match this one. Alright. This is looking very good for Parrots, getting an infantry over here to go for these captures before there's anything to actually kind of mess with that game plan. I would not go for this attack, because Sturm Max can just beat up your infantry, keep capturing, and isn't really going to be too worried about these first strikes coming in from Sturm vehicles when there's an anti-air backup and everything. So instead, I would probably just go for the city capture. There's no this delay isn't going to hurt JellyMyst economically because comm towers don't give money. Ooh, that only took 1 tank strike. And it's not like there's a lot of fighting going on right now that the comm tower being delayed is going to help with. Why is Sturm buying expensive recons? Yeah. Well, at this point, you wouldn't want to start building recons. Because that phase of the game is kind of over. There's already a bunch of tanks out that could mess with you. I don't know. I don't know why this guy's standing on the mountain. I would say that I'm pretty sure this mountain and the city are effectively defended the same. So you might as well at least start threatening this capture. Okay. Bunch of these little tanks. There we go. Transport copter. Very good buy. It's going to help quite a bit when it comes to the economy. Same with getting this infantry over here. It's just a ridiculous situation. For Parrots. The anti-air does dive in here and kill off this copter, which is a little unfortunate for sure. And then we have the double tank strike to come in here and hit this tank, which is also unfortunate because what Parrots would really like is to have double tank kill off this anti-air and have copters like be able to hold the line. So it's definitely a good pick off for JellyMyst there. Goes for an APC, which I am assuming is because of seeing this kind of capture situation. Okay, we're going for this city capture. We have a copter come over to hit the tank. Whoa. That's not ideal. So usually you would prefer to hit the anti-air so that the anti-air can't kill your copter. Although it is, the copter is kind of defended, but an anti-air for 2 copters is pretty good value. I do like the rocket being built here for Sturm. Sturm rockets are very speedy. They can get into really good positions. That's a good pick off from JellyMyst there. It's just out of range of this medium tank. There are 2 tanks here that can kill off this anti-air though. Okay. There we go. Now we have the transport copter from the JellyMyst. It looks like Parrots is going to prioritize going for this comm tower. So what I would have preferred for Parrots there is to have gone a transport copter and a black boat buy, and then on the following turn the infantry could move on to the black boat and get dropped off over here, and then the transport copter can position itself to go for these islands. Sturm getting megas is good. I wouldn't say that Max would be especially vulnerable to losing infantry due to the lack of indirects, because the indirects don't tend to defend in high funds that way. It is against Sturm like refunds. You played Sturm like Sammy. I can see that. Okay, we have a little front switch going on over here. Try and stabilize the this front. This is looking a little sketchy to me. On this side, I would prefer if a tank could have gone for this strike instead of the anti-air, because the anti-air is already having to hold off double copter. So what this kind of sets up for JellyMyst is to come in with tanks, kill off the anti-air, and then send in both copters to kill off tanks. So I definitely like that there's an anti-air kind of built in preparation for this one dying, because that's definitely in the cards. Here comes the copter strike. Ooh, okay, so JellyMyst makes a... Oh, never mind, this guy can still reach. But it doesn't reach. Or it didn't do it. I guess JellyMyst was too scared of the rocket. Well, there was definitely a way there to kill off this anti-air without... Tank here can do it. And then there'd be nothing here to actually hurt these copters, and Max gets free punish. But as is, it's not so bad for Parrots. Rockets moving up, it's pretty well guarded here. Although, once there's a max super, I believe a breakthrough will definitely be possible. Another anti-air, I like it. I think anti-air copter. It's gonna start getting really painful to not have these up and running, because there's gonna be quite a bit of money available, and Max will just be able to flood with a ton of copters and tanks. Okay, it looks like we're gonna try and front switch out of here. Hit this medium tank. And then... Alright. I mean, that's really good for Parrots, because this is kind of set up to be hit with a meteor. And Parrots can use the regular meteor right now. It's still a little weird of a move to me. Although it looks like Parrots isn't going to use the meteor. I'm pretty sure the meteor right here would land right here. Which would be really nice. And then this would die. But could be that Parrots just wants to hold for the super meteor. I don't think it would land here because it doesn't hit the medium tank. Excuse me. Okay. Need some more rockets. Gonna fall back a little bit. Sure. Definitely have to be careful because the max super is now here. So like this medium tank can reach it. This tile, it can reach to this tile. So this rocket's in a lot of trouble because I'm pretty sure max super medium tank will kill Sturm tank on the planes, and then the rocket will be, well, I guess the rocket's already vulnerable. Tank would be able to reach. Okay, oh, then we have the max blast. And oh, there we go. Now goes the rocket. The copter. Looking like a pretty darn good max blast. To hit the tank. Very painful. It's often very difficult to play around max blast, but it's definitely doable. It's just really annoying. It takes a lot of the using the move planner. It's definitely a very painful turn for Sturm, and I imagine the super would hit here. You can always check. Yeah, it does. You can always check in the move planner, and it'll tell you where your super will hit. I would agree. I agree with this little base skip in order to shoot this medium tank and finish it off. Take out that copter. Got that medium tank looking good. All of the injured units got taken out. Definitely, yeah, I agree with falling back a bit. I would probably focus not on killing off these tanks, I'd focus on killing off these anti-airs. So this kills off this anti-air, and then these two tanks can kill off this anti-air. And then suddenly there's none left over here, and when you're building copters, you're able to actually hold the line. So it's a little weird to me that this anti-air was left alone. It can actually just come over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and kill off this copter if it wants, or it can even hit the rocket, I guess. A little bit of a weird play there. One of the kind of standard strategies for brawls is to wipe out all of one unit's counter and then rely on that unit. So like killing off all the anti-airs, so you can then rely on your copters, or killing off all the tanks, so you can then rely on your anti-airs and your own tanks. Okay, so that was a really good counterattack turn, but now JellyMyst is kind of setting themselves up to have better infrastructure. They're going to have more production going on and more money. All of these captures have been delayed by quite a bit. But if JellyMyst this is always going to be possible for Max to suddenly like group everything together and then get hit by a meteor and lose everything. So playing around the powers definitely goes both ways. You like the multiple rockets? I do like all of these anti-airs. It's going to be something you're going to need a lot of them because Max is going to have double airport production. I'm not quite sure why those infantry joined together there. Ooh, we have the fighter built for Max. There's a lot of anti-airs here, but fighters do give some nice air dominance and will definitely threaten this poor innocent bomber. Okay. Got a lot of indirects going on here. This will be really annoying for Max to deal with, but once there's another like Max Super, then the Sturm walls will be breakable again. I'm not quite sure why there's quite so many infantry over here in this corner. It's kind of sad because if I guess if this medium tank was in range, you could just stand on this forest, and then everything would be stranded. Early meteor magnet. Well, it's not a very good meteor magnet because the meteor cares about unit value, not unit count. So, like, all of this here is worth less than hitting the single neo tank. You kid. Well, I mean, it could be what's going through their mind. Yeah, so the black bow over here is not as great. I mean, it can be used nicely as a blocker on these shoals, but you can't land on this little island. Because there's no shoals over here. You just have these roads, which look like runways. Also here, the priority should be put on capturing the airport over the city. They both give the same amount of income, but the airport can produce stuff. Okay. So it can be really annoying to play these matches as Max, because both against Max and as Max, because every single turn you have to look like, do I have a way to get my power? What does my power let me do? And then the same for your opponent. Every single turn they have to be like, okay, can Max get their power? What does their power let them do? What do I have to play around? So it can start getting really calculation heavy. Especially when you're trying to defend a whole bunch of indirects, trying to stop breakthroughs from happening. It's a little weird over there, but it's okay. The anti-air should live the Max attack. Oh, there we go. The medium tank is now sitting on this forest, and everything over here is kind of isolated. So unit count investment-wise, that's really good for Sturm. Indirects, I would say, are more effective against Max, since he doesn't have his own indirects to try and... Well, I mean, he can use his own indirects, but his own indirects aren't very strong with their -2 range. So he can have a hard time dealing with the zoning that the indirects cause, but if he can get his powers running, then he does have a lot of opportunities to break your walls and kill off all of your indirects. So while they are more effective, they're also going to have a more vulnerable situation. Although as Sturm, there's definitely going to be times that Max just can't do anything against your walls. If Sturm was building mega tanks, for instance, while normally Max can pop his power and have his mega tanks one-shot other people's mega tanks, that's not going to be a thing against Sturm with that extra defense. So going indirects plus mega tanks as Sturm could be pretty effective against Max's situation here. Ooh. Going for a missile. Well, when you have a lot of money, you can definitely grab a missile, and missiles for Sturm have some viability because they don't have that wheeled movement of 4. They just have 4 movement, so they can actually get places in a reasonable amount of time. More and more indirects. So much stuff is just collected over here on this little island. Usually you want to have your infantry kind of spread out so you can have a bunch of different threats to go for captures. So like this entire army over here for Max has a single infantry. So the only thing it can really threaten to do is just fight another army. It can't threaten to take the stuff. That's true. The black boats can stand right here and then cut off access to this island. Although Neotanks do kill black boats in just 2 turns, so it's definitely a temporary hold. At least I think they kill them in 2 turns. I know Mega Tanks one-shot them. Lots of indirects. So I'm not quite sure on how sturdy Sturm medium tanks are. If they can live the max bomber strikes with a super, then they're really good blockers for sure. If they die the max bombers, then I don't think they're kind of worth the investment in comparison to going for mega tanks. just Sturm stuff. When holds city. Okay, we are bringing in some more infantry over here, which is very good. Just a huge stare off. And Neotank is now going to fight. We have another missile being built. A little bit of some organization happening there. So at this point, Max can definitely get the power whenever he wants, or they want. Although I don't know if it would actually do anything. Okay. Tank comes in here and hits an infantry. Okay. That's it. Well, it's going to get taken out by indirects. But, or I guess indirect plus tanks. Copter maybe? But, that will give a little more charge to Max, which might have been the whole point of it. Sturm is backing up a tiny bit here. It's very cramped. Sturm would love to be able to get the super in one turn of attacking, but falling so far back isn't going to allow for such shenanigans. Things are definitely grouped up nicely to be hit with a meteor. Max is 44 to 52, so somewhat likely, but not super likely. And this would be Sturm's Neo Tank against just a normal black boat with 2 comp towers. Oh. I don't know why this infantry got deleted. I thought it was because unit cap, but then nothing got built. That's a little weird. We do have a mega tank, JellyMyst. Then triple medium tank. Okay, we have our mega tank. Oh, we have a mega tank over here. We've got a battleship gets built. That's going to push some stuff back. This infantry gets deleted. Okay. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 missiles. Well, Sturm's going to have a really hard time attacking. Okay. Max has found a strike in here. And the fighter attack. And the bomber goes after the battleship. And then the bomber finishes the battleship. And then I assume Max super. If Max doesn't super, then we're going to see a very, like, super and attack. Then we're going to see a very valuable Sturm super. 2 things just got deleted. 3 things just got deleted. So at this stage, when you're at the unit cap, which seems to be 60, and you go for an attack, it has to do more kills than like 3 or 4. Because as we just saw, that's like the same amount of units they would have normally deleted in order to build other things. So you make no unit count progress. Two, 3, 4. That doesn't reach. We have a whole bunch of different ways to attack here. This would definitely be a move. I mean, I can't imagine that the meteor doesn't hit here. It's almost a perfect meteor. There just needs to be an infantry or like an area unit on this mountain. I mean, actually, maybe it hits here. Is mega tank. Bomber. Oh my gosh, there's so many valuable. It does hit there. Like almost a 100th. It's like a 90,000. Almost a 100,000 value. Meteor strike. And all of the. I think the missile probably shot the wrong... Well, maybe not. These guys do live. Although, the bomber will probably sacrifice itself against an anti-air. Just for the unit count. Instead of having a unit be deleted. Don't know why this guy ran up here. You think probably should have come over onto the city and just struck it against the other Neo tank. It's okay. Max falls back. It would have been fine to strike the Neo tank from the top. Mega tank doesn't reach. What? Well, there's no reason to delete that unit. Yeah, you can join units together, sure. So the problem that Max is going to run into here is that this is hurting the unit count a lot. Well, only shaking the house. We'll see what Max builds. Okay, so we have bomber, battlecopter, Neo tank. Down by 3 unit count. At this point, a lot of the stuff is kind of pushed forward too. It's probably going to get really tough for Max to maintain the top, the unit cap. Maybe not. Maybe. Okay, only 1 unit goes down. So as long as Max doesn't lose too much stuff. Okay, some more units went down. Down 10 units. There's another battleship here. This might trigger Max to charge forward again. Have the Max blast. I mean, stuff is pretty close together over here. You hate Sturm so much. You definitely think Sturm's a lot better than he is. Okay, a lot of stuff should probably die here. Down goes the rocket. Went after this poor battleship. Goodbye. 5 missiles is a little excessive. I mean, they're gonna get targets here. Oh, unless the missile gets taken out. Right. Oh, we break through. Oh, the missile? No, the copter. Probably should have killed the missile. Maybe the copter is the better choice. Oh. Kill off the rocket. I can reach this missile. Goes for the infantry on the HQ. Okay. These missiles have plot armor. Doesn't that reach? Oh, it doesn't reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it does. 8. It does reach. The missiles have plot armor. Yeah, this is going to be probably the most valuable missile turn I've ever seen. This one can only shoot a copter. It can't shoot the bomber. This one can shoot a 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 bomber. Okay. Well, kind of comes down to, does Sturm want to kill off a bunch of stuff and then use the super, or use the super, use the super right away? Hit there. Probably moving the anti-air probably would have made sense. But that's okay. Blam. Here goes the missile shots. Down goes the bomber. Down goes the bomber. Down goes the bomber. Down goes the bomber. Nice rocket shots. Got that tank. Power goes after the medium tank. Rocket finishes it off. Anti-air kills, some more rocket firing. Anti-air. Fighter goes after the bomber. Anti-air strike. Copter goes after the mega. Mega actually survived. Infantry strike here. I guess this was an attempt at an HQ cap. I don't think that guy survives Neo Tank plus anything. Okay. Sturm looking pretty happy here. Fighter, medium tanks, and then the rockets are still being built here. That was a huge hit to Max's unit value and unit count. So Max was at 541,000 at the end of their turn. Over 250,000. That was over half of the unit value gone. Max doesn't need to worry about unit limit anymore. That's true. Now, Max could still win though, because I think this has a 30-day limit. And that's going to come down to how many properties each player has. And there's not that many Sturm infantry available to actually get these cities. I think Sturm has to capture 2 cities, which is why I'm going to start going ham against these infantry. So Max looking really poor value-wise, but there's only 6 Sturm infantry left. There's 1 here, 1 here, and then the other 4 are over here. 3 of which, half of which are injured. That's a 35-day limit. Okay, well, if there's 10 days to take 2 cities, that's a lot more manageable for Sturm, for sure. Oops. Yeah, Sturm should be able to one-shot this infantry, because this is just a regular Neotank attack. So that should be able to go Neotank kills, infantry kills, Megatank kills the Neotank. But that's okay. Lots of stuff still getting picked off. Well, there's an infantry starting to move towards the city. The missiles start moving forward. Okay, we have more infantry. Some more infantry built. Looking good. Oops. And then over here, this does look like a somewhat scary attacking force from Max still. I think that medium tank is dead. I guess it's covered by a bomber as well. Okay. I don't know why the black boat was deleted, because the unit cap is 60. And I mean, the black boat would be really handy over here for sure. It could be repairing, it could be blocking stuff off. It's definitely not the saddest Megatank play in history. There was definitely a better play for sure. That was a weird attack, because now the bomber dies. It could have killed the anti-air. Okay. Back in here, kill off this anti-air, kill off this copter. There isn't really that much over here that can punish the max attacks, so it's not so bad. Okay, well, if Parrots wants, can always drop another meteor. It might just be saving up for the super meteor though. Bomber comes in. 5. I'd really like if something could hit this anti-air, but it doesn't look like it. Ooh. No fear of the max anti-airs coming from these bombers. I guess that technically hits. Not super scary. Kill off that infantry. Yeah, this capture is definitely going through. There's still quite a few days left. So this is looking like it's probably going to be a Sturm victory. We do have the max blast. It's going to be the end of at least one bomber, maybe 2. Rocket gets tagged here. The anti-air. Now goes the bomber. The copter. Now goes the medium tank. Now goes the rocket. Lots of rockets being tagged here. Although there's still quite a few left for Sturm. Bomber gets smacked. It's actually kind of okay though. Alright. So JellyMyst does resign. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure most of this gets cleaned up and then there's just no way to stop this capture from happening, and then there's also like an HQ capture being threatened. I don't even see how you can hold as max. Nice, the GG pipe runner and rocket buy and artillery triple indirect. I like it. I find this fun to watch. That was wild. These missiles, these 5 missiles, they've got plot armor. They were multiple times they could have been taken out. But they did prove to be cost effective. Like, they took out a bunch of bombers. GG. That was quite the game. Every Sturm win is a crime. I don't know why you hate Sturm so much. I mean, hating Kindle makes a lot more sense. Okay, we've got Kantbei playing against Alistor. Only got 1 more hour left before I have to run the class. So hopefully I can get through 2 games. 2 more games. So Max versus Eagle is a very classic matchup. You'll see it quite a bit. And if things kind of stabilize, then Eagle tends to just beat Max. And in the late game, Eagle just tends to beat Max. So we'll see what the players can get going here. This is a double airport map, which is good for both Max and Eagle. Probably better for Eagle, just because he's got slightly stronger copters. And it does mean more vehicles to use with Lightning Strike. It's a single transport copter opener here, which is a bunch of infantry. We have a double recon opener from Kantbei, which you would normally, if this was standard, you would know for sure that the double recon opener is going to beat the transport copter opener, but this is Fog of War, so the double recon opener probably won't stop the transport copter opener from doing what it wants. It's a big map. Recons are limited by their vision. Oh, it's gonna hit this infantry though. There's at least gonna be some value out of these recons currently. Smack. And knocking this down to 4 is the max privilege, having that extra firepower. And it's kind of a big deal because for most COs, yeah, the recon hits you, you get knocked down to 5, and then you can keep capturing and kind of threaten the recon to stick around for another turn. And it still has that immediate pressure being put on it. So we'll see if these recons over here are able to get something done. So far we have one recon that comes over and it interrupts the capture. That's kind of what it has to do to break even, because the recon could have been an infantry. So if it can stop one capture or delay one capture, then it's kind of justifying the fact that it's not an infantry. That could be going for its own capture right now. So recon does back off, going down here. It gets spotted, it gets hit by a tank. I'm not super happy with the recon opener currently. It does seem like the tanks kind of catch up to the capturing infantry. I do like that this recon got to hit and survive. This one does block city capture for a turn, and now it should run away. Gonna back up a tiny bit. We do have the max tank, which is good. If the recons don't die and they get a little bit of harassment in there, then that's pretty solid. But you can see that right now the transport copter is kind of outvaluing the recon opener. At the end of Kantbei's turn there, it was even in income. And it's looking like Eagle's gonna have no trouble staying ahead in the Econ War. Ending the turn 3k ahead, which is what you would like to see, and then we'll see where Kantbei ends. Just back to catching up. So that's not looking like a great opening so far. But it's possible that it's kind of going to be a delayed response, because that's a nice pickup over here. A nice interrupt over here by Kantbei. And I'm not super happy with sacrificing recons or even injured recons to delay a city like this. But if you're also hitting another nearby city, so you're kind of diminishing the infantry count in the area, then it does make a little bit more sense. Especially if you have your own tank to back it up. So, if through these attacks the infantry count gets too diminished that the captures can like never happen, then that will be pretty good. It's a huge mob of infantry moving out this direction. Alistor. Okay. Looks like the idea here is to try and stop the tank from being hit by another tank. Unfortunately, that's not going to quite hold. Although, it's possible that Kantbei won't go for this attack, fearing that there is a tank covering, because on this front, Kantbei hasn't really seen that much. Okay, the recon's used to check. And now that's going to give Kantbei the confidence that he needs. Going for a nice tank first strike. And because of these nice interrupts, also Kantbei's going to get a pretty good lead here in Econ so far. So the recon opener definitely had some more delayed impact than the transport one did. but it's starting to make itself known. We have the nice artillery placement in these woods. That's very annoying for Max to deal with. Also some pressure in the center. We'll see how Kantbei is going to address this gigantic mob of infantry kind of closing in on this front. Kantbei's gone very much strong side, weak side here. And usually what that means is that the strong side vehicles need to front switch to save these infantry. If a front switch doesn't happen, then Kantbei can kind of get stuck overextending and then lose on the other front pretty heavily. That's a pretty decent breakthrough to hit this anti-air, which should give the confidence for Kantbei to use this copter, although the copter can't actually hit anything. Just scoots forward a little bit. Okay, this is looking a tad dangerous for Kantbei because there's quite a few backup units here. I think Kantbei's going to get absolutely wiped on this side. It's going to look very similar to what's happening over here right now, which would not be ideal. Copter did decide to attack. I'm not super sold on that copter strike from Alistor. I do like all of the fighting happening over here, though. Pick off all of those infantry. Maybe a little too much invested over here. I guess Alistor's assuming that Kantbei's going to front switch or something. But it's looking like Kantbei is willing to just completely trade sides here, which I would not want to do in Kantbei's shoes because Kantbei has more of this stuff captured than Alistor does, so overall this will be a net negative for a trade for Kantbei. It is true, well, yeah. Alistor can't see this, but he can see this anti-air. Down goes the copter. Hit the tank. Finish off the tank. Kill off this tank. Off that anti-air. That's looking pretty scary. However, it is looking scary, but at the same time, this is Eagle we're talking about, and this is definitely looking very overextended for Kantbei. So I would not be too surprised if this army kind of ends up getting wiped out in a couple turns if it sticks around. Okay, Kantbei's trying to injure all of the infantry to make it so that the side doesn't fall too quickly. But there's just like a lot of infantry over here. Oops. Wrong button. So here, I would probably step through to this tile to go for this city rather than just go for this city. Because you got like all these other infantry on the following turn. Single copter tank infantry Alistor. Wow, Kantbei, no fear. This is definitely an overextension. He's gonna get some more money here, but again, this is gonna come at the come at the cost of the other front because nothing's leaving. Okay. Well, the idea is probably that Alistor can't have a super good lightning strike if everything gets beat up. But again, every time you're overextending by another turn closer and closer to the bases, you're effectively reducing the number of units you have available for the fight and giving your opponent more units. Okay. Well, this is definitely going to be a lightning strike turn. Doesn't quite reach that copter. Probably shouldn't have built this artillery, a recon, and then double infantry would be usually a route to go there. Okay, bunch of strikes over here. This copter as well. Drop off some infantry. Got that tank. Kill off this infantry and then kill off this tank. Okay. So that was definitely a more of a stabilize lightning strike, but the nice thing about stabilizing lightning strikes is that it means you didn't have to overextend and get punished for it. So Kantbei can use max blast here, but attacking over here would be bad because it's still attacking into the base production. Attacking into the middle would be more of what you would like to do, because that's at least not attacking towards bases. That is what Kantbei does, which is very good. Drop that infantry. You even got that little tank pick off, which is kind of nice. Okay, so very good choice from Kantbei to attack against the middle army rather than the army that's like right outside the base production. Okay, one city flip. So Kantbei is still up by 4k. It's been looking pretty good for an econ lead. However, because the econ's just so high, the like a 4k advantage doesn't hurt that much, which normally that would be like devastating. If it's like 12k versus 16k, that is an absolutely crushing lead. If it's 24k to 28k, I mean, you can still fight that. Recon aggression pressured the one base side build vehicles, resulting in less infantry. There isn't really a one base side here. This base goes to both sides at the same speed, so it's wherever you decide to stuff. Okay, like it. Should go off all of the stuff on the outskirts. No need to overextend. There are more forests up here. Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a slightly different range of the reach of the bases, but that's not going to force you to send like only infantry. What determines that is how easily can the bases like send to one side or the other, not so much that the reinforcement route on that side. Like the reinforcement route is hurt by both of these bases to go over here. That's just going to be a smaller range. It's not like this base is getting a better reinforcement route than this one. They both have to go through the same terrain. I mean, this one's a little bit closer. It's a whole tile closer. I see some decent 3-player maps. don't know if I know one. Those are always going to be tricky. Starting to fall back. That's definitely what you want to do as Eagle. Just try and maintain as many units as possible. Really good play here for Kantbei, going after these far out cities. Gets to kill off this tank, which is nice. Yeah, I like the front switch from Kantbei. Kind of knows that Eagle has quite a few forces over here. Go strike somewhere else. It's very good. But at the same time, the game is kind of slowing down quite a bit, which is always going to benefit Eagle. This infantry 100% should run back towards the reinforcements. You don't want to move away for your reinforcements to get picked off easier. Down goes the anti-air. Down goes the anti-air. Really good pickoffs here by Kantbei. A little bit sloppy from Alistair to let that happen. But that's really good news for Kantbei, because every vehicle you can take out will make the lightning strike that much worse. And now a lot of these cities are going to fall, so Kantbei's starting to look like just forcing a victory by capture could be possible. Oh. Okay, we do have a pretty good counterattack over here. Although Kantbei is still very capable of striking this. And oh, never mind. I didn't realize the lightning strike was already here. Okay. I think this is going to be another stabilization lightning strike. Able to clear out the middle again. For the most part. Does save these cities. Still back to that 4K income lead for Kantbei. However, instead of the main attacking force being so close to the bases, it's kind of far away at this point. So Kantbei should be able to get something done here. Maybe not right now, though. He's a little bit behind when it comes to unit value, but still really good on unit count. I didn't even know, or unit value. Or no, unit count. I didn't notice that a lander had been built. Okay. I mean, it is definitely faster for getting into the middle. And we do have the max super available for use. Could be a bit of an overextension, but we'll see. Another recon dropped off. Okay. Something I'd like is a tech up from Kantbei, probably. Something to leverage this income lead. Who is going to get this city? Does look like it's just going to be another city for city swap. Kantbei's had an econ lead for a very long time. I guess the lander was his version of an investment of the cash. I mean, you can kind of do this where you can either just overload them purely through unit count of copters, or you could go for like stealths. Although I guess stealths against Eagle is always going to feel really sketchy, because they can build a fighter and then move it in the same turn and all that stuff. Well, the lantern's going to be really good when stuff happens in the center. It's going to be less good if stuff happens over here. Or like down here. Unless you're trying to get all three bases fighting on the same front. Okay, that's a lot of vehicles over here. White does find this recon. The city will fall, so we're going to be back to that 24 versus 28k income. Ooh, Kantbei just falls back over here. Hasn't used the super. The infantry count's looking really low for Alistar, down to 7. Look, Kantbei only has 10 as well. Okay, looks like things are starting to stall out, which is never good for Max. This is again going to be... I mean, this trade isn't the worst. Trading these two fronts, it should keep everything pretty even when it comes to income. Assuming they do actually trade. Okay. Alistar's staying back. Whoa! Kantbei just goes straight for the max force. No scout needed. Let's charge in here. Kills off this tank. Kills off this recon. Kills off this artillery. But this is giving a lot of charge. But not dealing with the main force. Although it is only one anti-air here for Alistar. So the lightning strike won't be like end of the world devastating if that's what happens. I don't think the lightning strike is going to happen. In which case this is very good for Kantbei. Okay. So I'm pretty sure this front's going to be left with just a bunch of indirects over here. Another max force, okay. Copter, indirect. Just run away from over here, that makes sense. Okay, this is looking kinda iffy. There's a decent anti-air count for Kantbei, so it shouldn't be too easy for Alistar to just wipe out all the anti-airs and then try and win through pure copter. I mean, there is some definite lightning strike shenanigans available here. You've got anti-air can kill off 2 copters with ease. Here, check stuff out. Copter versus copter. Things going to hit the anti-airs, and then the artillery can go after this other one. So maybe not. I guess it's just going to be the single shot. Oh, maybe not. I guess he can go here to also shoot it. I guess double shot's probably not needed. Okay. The lightning strike. Still only the one anti-air, so the copters are going to have to be used to kill off quite a few of these max copters, but that's okay. Finish that guy off. Go after the infantry. Artillery strike. Copter finishes off the anti-air. There's 2. Save the comm tower. Kill off the anti-air. Kill off the infantry. Kill off the tanks. Trap in the 5 health tank. Okay. As again, the stabilization lightning strikes have been doing some serious work. Anti-air strike, copter strike. Some tanks charge in here, trying to save their good friends. Getting hits on these indirects. What? Kantbei resigns? I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of attacking in there, but I don't think you lose even if you do that. Still up by quite a lot of cash. Or income. I can feel disheartened after being ahead by so much money and just keep getting hit by lightning strikes, but none of those lightning strikes are lethal. I think that might have been just Fog doing Fog stuff. Come by pulling a D just now. Win, resign. Probably faked himself out. He is going to run into some problems over here because his anti-air is going to take a while to get over, and this one's definitely going to die, and then these copters are going to die. But he's still ahead, even with that happening. And the lightning strikes are going to get less and less common. Yeah, the back units haven't moved, and he hasn't built anything. So he's going to lose the fight here eventually. But there's also... So it was a lightning strike turn. So the reinforcements after a lightning strike turn are always really... I think he just got psyched out. Okay, next we got HippieBuster versus Karpa. On Qubits. Whoa. Sammy versus Olaf in the fog. Well. Olaf should have a pretty nice advantage here. But we'll see if there's some secret Sammy tech going on. What reinforcements? There is no reinforcements. I mean, that can happen too. Okay. So Sammy's a lot worse in fog because it's a lot harder to guarantee that you're getting nice matchups with your mechs and infantry. It's also harder because all the fog maps are really open and they're really big, so vehicles are a lot stronger. And it's also kind of common to run really low on infantry, which when Sammy runs really low on infantry, it's not that she just can't capture stuff, it's that her powers do nothing. Karpa using the standard tier list for this match. Now Olaf is really good in the Fog of War because the maps tend to be really big, and it's harder to make sure you get your like perfect day-to-day leverage on him, just because you don't always know where all the units are. So Sammy should do okay up until the first Winter Fury, and then when Winter Fury hits, the game will probably just end. Okay, but so far looking pretty nice. Got a nice harassment over here and a hit on this recon. With no punish. So far things are looking decently for Sammy. Another recon being caught out. Although this one I should be able to retreat to some safer coverage. I really like this recon movement by Sammy, standing next to the airport, ready to interrupt this. The forward airport's really strong, and it's actually kind of annoying to get an infantry sent all the way over here. So if this goes uncovered, what is this tank doing? Well, that's... Okay, well, neither of these tanks can reach this, so this is now just a denied airport, which is a big deal. Although, that is incredibly unfortunate. Although I guess I think this recon already had chip on it, so it's fine. Down goes that infantry. This tank is super trapped. Sadly dies against this recon. So far, Sammy hasn't done anything that another CO wouldn't have done better. Like all of this harassment's been vehicle based against infantry. So Sammy's just kind of been hurt in that regard, but it's still been working out very, very well. $45 to 51 damage. Oh, it's true, it's 0 towers. Okay, bunch of vehicle fights happening out over here. But the infantry counts are looking kind of bad for Olaf in the top here. 42 to 48. It can't actually knock it down to 5. Okay. Okay. Olaf was able to knock this guy down to 3. That's the threshold. If you knock the infantry down to 4, it can still get the capture. If it's knocked down to 3, it can't finish it. For Sammy. Okay, looks like nice transport copter coming on over here to get this tower. Really good. The recon harassment has been really good for Karpa so far. But Olaf's Winter Fury has not come into play. Stopping this airport from being captured is such a big deal. And because the tanks for Olaf were not in place to strike here, it's going to be so annoying to deal with this recon. Because once it kills this infantry, the vision of the recon is going to go away. Like, this tank won't actually be able to hit it. The anti-air also gets a nice interrupt. Okay. Down goes that infantry. Ooh. This also means that Karpa looks like is going to get this aggressively placed comm tower. That's a little bit of a weird move here. So I think what's going on is that Karpa is thinking, I'll overload the anti-air, so it wants to stop me from taking this comm tower, but it also wants to kill this copter. Or it's to be like, I want this anti-air to move over here so that my tank can finish it off. Just kind of trade copter for tank-ish, or copter for anti-air-ish. But this is a really good situation for Sammy. That doesn't actually stop this capture. That does stop this capture. Oh, this means that the comm tower goes through, though. Okay, so some Sammy capture power is mattering here. This will actually be double comm tower Sammy, which will... Double comm tower Sammy is really nice, because suddenly your your vehicles act as though they were normal vehicles with one comm tower. Yes, the rivers are like cubes. Okay. So at this point, Sammy actually has a 10% firepower advantage over Olaf when it comes to vehicles, and then a very large one when it comes to infantry. A really good recon opener. Winter Fury is about to hit, though. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a complete nightmare to deal with this forward airport. Oh, that's... There must have been a better way to do this. You really don't want to have just a bunch of injured infantry as your only option. But this is a great attack. You should... I mean, HippieBuster should 100% have Winter Fury before this. There's no real reason to hold on to it, especially when you're attacking into this area and you're fine with slowing down your opponent's units. So, the problem with holding on to the Winter Fury is that now all of the damage you dealt that turn and all of the damage you're going to be taking is not going to be contributing to more charge for more Winter Furies in the future. So this is just kind of denying yourself more every turn that you delay it. And it's not like there's much of an advantage to delaying it. Karpa does have to do a base skip here in order to get tank copter. You have the Winter Fury this turn. Which will allow the anti to get taken out, but yeah, just 7 health infantry going for the capture of this comm tower. It's going to take 3 turns. Not great, but it should be possible to get. Over here just seems like, yeah, you have to get lots of anti-airs because bombers on by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even copters on by can harass this black boat in lab, and Victory March is on the table. So as soon as this dies, it's just game over. Now Sammy did pay a bunch of repair costs, so unless some serious joins happened, we're not going to have a bomber this turn. Alright. So Olaf has to be hyper vigilant about defending this lab. Missiles only need 3 turns to cover the airport. Only 3? Okay. I think the comm tower is going to get captured. Tank defenders not looking too hot. They do have anti-air covering for them. So the question is, can Sammy just Victory March and kill this? We would have plus 30% firepower, full health copter, 7 health copter, full health tank, 5 health tank. Against a 7 health black boat on the lab. I don't have the damage calcs, but that looks somewhat likely to me. Oh, Well, that's true. It's only plus 20%. It's plus 30%, but she minuses 10. Okay. I'm going to assume that that doesn't kill. But, you know, I'll check, because that seems very killable to me. Damage calc. Sammy. Double comm tower. The super. Yeah, a lab. Where's the black boat? Black boat has 7 health. $23 to $30. So I guess knock it down to 5. Probably, actually guaranteed. Knock it down to 3. That only knocks it down to 2. Okay, so I mean, it's definitely possible, but it's not guaranteed to kill it. Barely survive. Made myself evil with the numbers. The next one's like a 5 health tank. 5 to 9. So it'd probably be a 1. It would either be a 1 or it would be dead. Unintentional apple. Well, no reason to throw away a 1 game on a roll. I'm scary when I calc, yeah. Okay. The comm tower is now captured, so it's slightly harder to kill this off now. Down goes the anti-air. So Olaf's making some nice headway on this side, although that's definitely not the side that's under nearly as much danger. Although these 2 copters actually moved out of range of the black boat for some reason. I guess they don't have a safe spot to stand in range of it. Okay, well, I have a feeling that Sammy's going to kill off this stuff. The repair on the copter. Now goes the tank. Up the anti-airs. Infantry. We've got the money to build a bomber. We've got Operation Sneaky Sneaks over here taking a city. There's the bomber. Now Olaf can Winter Fury here to save the lab. Assuming he gets the charge, which should be pretty much guaranteed. Although I don't think there's a way to guarantee it that doesn't also like remove all of your defenders around the lab, which isn't great. Who's the transport copter? The city capture is not going to hold for very long. Ah, well, it doesn't look like Winter Fury was a priority. Oh, that's super GG. No need to calc that. Smack. Smack. Doesn't even use the bomber. Limited by capture. So well played by Sammy. the recon harassment was really good. And stopping this airport and then capturing it for Sammy's self was also very strong. I don't think being Sammy necessarily helps with that, but it's okay. It's a very nice win. Could Olaf have killed all the infantry? 1, 2, 3, 4 different infantry. I don't think so. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers, and they can't all one shot. Victory March is too strong. Okay, I gotta go. I've got class, so I will leave you all with an apple. We didn't even get through the new submissions, but that's okay. That's okay. Apple. Have a good day, all. Oh, thanks for watching.
It's Go7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins.